Hi. This is a dedicated upload to my best friend, my missus, my wife, Haley. One's love for her is Yahweh given, by the way. Almost 14 years now. I am blessed with her, so love you very, very much, sweetheart. Haley's Comet, but pronounced Halley's Comet, last seen on the 2nd of the 9th, 1986. I was only 6 years old by then. And thus, still here, I'll be 81 the next time in 2061. How old will you be by then? This so-called comet, well, it is the only reoccurring recorded electrical manifestation really that's earned this celebrity status by making regular appearances across our geocentric vault of heaven every 76 years, being called a short period comet by the heliocentric religion, of course. However, there is only one of them through the mist of the thousands that are registered at NASA. It's so clearly visible to the naked eye on each passage that you can get to see it twice in your lifetime. There are so many records of this EM dating back as far as 240 BC. Now, this is a very, very long time ago, folks, for something to keep on reappearing and reoccurring, 2,000 plus years of recorded sightings. So he continued to make his electrical appearances in our creation 1531, 1607, 1682, but it wasn't until 1705 that British astronomer and Oxford professor Edmund Halley correctly predicted the so-called comet would next appear in 1758. And thus it did. Brilliant. Sadly though, for himself, he did not live to see his prediction come true because he unfortunately passed in 1742. But to honour him, the astronomers named the so-called comet after him. So today it's officially known as 1P Halley, and the P denoting that it's a periodic comet, which is funny because there is only one that keeps on periodically occurring out of the thousands and thousands to choose from. The first positive observations can date back to 240 BCE in the Chinese Chronicle, records of the Grand Historian, or the Shiji. There's an account of the EM in the sky, also written on a Babylonian tablet, recorded during appearance of it back in 164 BC. The tablet is kept at the British Museum in London, and over the subsequent centuries, observations of this electrical manifestation are also found in China, Japan, India, the Middle East, Europe, and even possibly on petroglyphs in North America as it passes over and around the vault of the firmament. Because it's not the Earth that moves, folks. Lots of Renaissance artwork contains this electrical manifestation too, and it was also observed in the famous year of 1066. Observers in England saw it as a bad omen, unless you were William the Conqueror, of course, and his crew, because for him it was a sign from heaven of his upcoming victory. Obviously, interpretation. So-called comets throughout history have been blamed for some of history's most darkest times. In Switzerland, Halley's Comet was blamed for earthquakes, illnesses, red rain, and even the birth of two-headed animals. The Romans recorded that a fiery comet marked the assassination of Julius Caesar. In England, Halley's Comet was thus blamed for bringing the Black Death. The Incas in South America even recorded a comet having foreshadowed Francisco Pizarro's arrival just days before he brutally conquered them. Comets and disaster became so intertwined that Pope Calixtus III even excommunicated Halley's Comet as an instrument of the devil. Yet they couldn't have been more wrong, were it not for a Chinese affinity of meticulous record keeping. This true understanding of this EM may have never actually been reached. Mark Twain famously once said, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. and it is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet. The Almighty has said, no doubt. Now here are these two unaccountable freaks. They came in together, they must go out together. Well, friends, he actually passed one day after the EM soared through the firmament sky. Prayer answered. How does this electrical manifestation, called by the opposition a periodic comet, when there is only one of them that does this, it keeps reappearing and manifesting every 75-76 years around the Earth sky? How and why? Always travelling away from the sun, remember, away from the sun. It's been determined that the comet was somehow 80% water with a dust-covered, uneven surface darker than coal. Well, that remains to be verified empirically, of course, because what did they even test it with in the 1980s? What with? It seems to always follow an east-west direction when visible on the flat Earth, never once going backwards, retrograding, as it would have to in that fake globe rotating once a day Earth nonsense. Earth, friends, does not rotate, and it's been proved that it doesn't and cannot. No point in going through all over again. Just look at the past videos. This is able to be predicted by all amateur and professional astronomers of the plane to keep on reappearing every 75-76 years. How is this possibly possible in the vast infinite solar system when we're supposed to be moving through this vast nebula, billions of other worlds, suns, planets, outer-filled space at this alarming miles per hour from this so-called Big Bang explosion? Said 500,000 miles an hour, folks, away from the so-called Big Bang explosion. Don't forget also travelling 1,000 miles an hour at the equator and 67,000 miles an hour around a 93 million mile away sun. Okay? Crazy, crazy belief. However, the question is, and will always remain, can anybody give a satisfactory explanation as to why and how? Because if it so-called orbits the sun every 75-76 years due to the gravitational force that the sun provides, how does it keep on appearing when we're supposed to be moving away from a Big Bang explosion? It just doesn't add up. I've been looking into this for so many years. Already on so many forums, so many sites, contents, books, TV shows, Archive 81, amateur movies, looking for these answers. There isn't any. Nobody even dares to ask why does it keep on reappearing and how it does. 500,000 miles an hour. Fake ball travelling distance from the Big Bang explosion, right? Don't forget the 1,000 mile an hour at the equator speed and 67,000 miles an hour around the sun. We won't even need that. So what we need to do is just multiply 500,000 miles an hour by the 24 hours in a day. Multiply by the 7 days in the week, multiply by an average 30 days in a month, multiply that by 12 months for 1 year, and then multiply that by 75 years, which is the distance travelled. Do you know what this is? 2.268 to the power of 12, which is, I think, 2.268 trillion miles. This is before we even calculate the said helio speed of Halley, which is said to be a mere 157,838 miles per hour. And they have said they've almost landed on it at that speed. Again, remember, the EM always travels away from the sun. So how does it keep on finding the Earth at the speed or able to keep up with its said motions or distance travelled 2.268 E plus 12? It's just this magical force you call gravity seems to just about do everything, doesn't it? Pretty neat, NASA. Your near-Earth asteroid tracking. You've just got it all, don't you? Remember, there is only one of this periodic comet that keeps on coming back. Forget all the others, friends. There is only one that keeps happening every 75, every 76 years, and is a complete mystery then, as it is right now, to everybody. Does this fake outer spaced Earth have some kind of pinpoint marker in a cosmic universe, a universal alien infinite space app that we don't know about or something? There is no outer space. Earth is here. Gravity is a cop-out, and it is a load of cop. This is always going to be one of those most uncomfortable thorns stuck in the side of the heliocentric, religious, satanic globe worship with no answer apart from gravity. That's it. They say the barycenter of the so-called solar system is the gravitational midpoint between all objects in the solar system. Even the so-called outer-spaced Earth ball contributes a tiny bit to the barycenter's position because all the objects in the solar system are always shifting around, and the barycenter is always shifting around too. That's it. How is that an answer? How does it keep on finding the Earth? They say comets are broken bits off the sun. So why doesn't it ever hit the Earth? It just passes through overhead so we can all see it. They say comets tend to fall apart rather than fade away. Yet this one doesn't, does it? It keeps on coming back. Thus looking the same size, the same speed, the same travelling pattern, due on its time. Every 75, 76 years. What is the truth? Wasn't a star in the east present at the birth of our Christ, Yeshua? Since then, no other inspired scripture record of any other has been guided by a star. Just this one. Known to most as the Star of Bethlehem, known to few as Star Prophecy. This was a sign for our deliverer, a sign of good and not a sign of bad. Love sign, not hate sign. Even the word magi is commonly translated as wise man. However, in this context, it could also mean astronomer or astrologer. Astronomy and astrology a long time ago were one of the same things, until it gets manipulated. And astronomers have also determined that this very special electrical manifestation passed in the firmament around 12 BC, between 5 and 10 years before most scholars argue that Yeshua was actually born. Could they have been a few years out? There are about most things, I'm afraid, friends, because could it be possible that Giotto believed Matthew was referring the electrical manifestation in his story that the star would come out of Jacob, which is Numbers 24:17 to 19. The star anise spice used by many cultures in food preparation sounds very much like you're saying star and east, doesn't it? Well, depending on where you're from, of course. The Star of Bethlehem, Halley's Comet, and all the sightings, my opinion, the same thing. Hidden by paganism and man's ability to change history by its words. There is an existence of a mathematical law governing the luminaries. We know this. It's called geocentrism. You see it every single night time, the ecliptic cycle of the luminaries around a flat Earth. Their lights, colourful lights, wandering stars, electromagnetically cycled, not gravitationally. So this formation of electrical manifestations shooting stars through the combined agencies of the luminaries, thus when they pass simultaneously at various degrees on the now satanic zodiac. And since the luminaries, the wandering stars, they all have a regular motion to them, it follows that the periodicity of this electrical manifestation, if it does exist, will be due to this geomathematical fact. One electromagnetically charged manifestation, electrically manifestating himself in and around our created flat geocentric world for some kind of sign, a symbol, seems was written only once of in the basic instructions before we leave Earth to symbolize our deliverer, Yeshua, during its geocentric cycle with all the other luminaries and the dark body luminaries on its path every 75-76 years. A very, very close to Earth land shooting star sign. Psalms 19:1. The heavens declared the glory of Yeshua, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. This is what a real picture of Halley's Comet looks like. And doesn't it look familiar to the other luminaries and the stars, to what we see them for what they are and for what they certainly are not? What is this mystery? Why does it keep on happening? Nobody seems to know the real answer. Yet he is coming back, and you can count on it. And hopefully we will be able to record it in real time, observable, testable and repeatable in the year 2061. 38 years from now, this present time, the geocentric flat world that we all live in. Hopefully we'll be able to do an update on this upload. Yeshua is the living word of Yahweh, and Yahweh created it all for us. There is only one way to Elohim, and that is Yeshua. And that's good enough for me, my heart, my faith, my missus, and my life. I hope you get to find him too. See you next time. Thanks for your time, and stay flat. Yahweh bless.